Alright, going to work on a little Tecumseh generator here again, and what we're going to do is see if we can rebuild the carb. We'll take that off and see if we can find a rebuilding kit for that. But I put it in a tray here. I'm going to wheel it outside and hit it with some gasoline and brush off all the dirt. We'll blow it off, and then we'll brush off what greases on there and dirt and dust and everything, and just try and clean it up a little bit. But this is something you don't see too often anymore. Look at this pan. This pan's probably about 40 years old or something. Good sturdy pan. You can't find them anymore. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to see if I usually keep Tecumseh carburetor kits in stock. I like these carburetors. So let's see if we can find something. Come on, take a walk with me over here. Let's see what we got on the shelf. Now here it is up front. Tecumseh carburetors. I should be able to, even if I don't have a kit, I should be able to piece something together just enough to get this thing running. So, I'll tell you what, let's put you up on a tripod and you guys can help me try and find something. Alright, let's see what we got here. Tecumseh, I love Tecumseh carburetors. I'll take them and I'll use them on just about anything I got. Even if it's a Briggs, I'll put a Tecumseh carburetor on it, because they kept the same design. The design of the carburetor is so good that they kept it the same, identical, from the 50s all the way up till they stopped making them. I don't know, 80s, 90s, I don't know what. But anyway, they're all the same. Now here's what we're going to need. Our float bowl is good. I'm going to try and keep you in frame here. And like I said, there's not much to them. On these smaller ones, you got one tiny small jet on the side, and you just want to make sure that they're clear. You might have more than one, but anyway, you got to take the needle out, and there's just a couple gaskets in there. And then, like I say, you clear the jets out. Then you need a gasket for around the bowl. And then we didn't take that apart, but let me see. I got some carburetors in here. I'll show you. I don't know if I can show you. Anyway, we're going to need here's a Tecumseh. There's a float bowl needle that goes in there, and there's a small rubber gasket that goes in there to keep it from the fuel from coming and filling the float bowl. So that's basically all we need. So, like I said, I love these carburetors. I keep them in stock in case I have to put them on something. If you come across one that has a big long handle on it like this, that's usually off a snowblower. That one's bent out of the way, but that one's good. Let's see what we got here. Alright, from the looks of this, I could probably piece one together. I see the float bowl gasket, and then he also got a gasket, a little O-ring on the bottom here. So I could definitely piece one together here. I see I got one whole complete kit here. You see, now this kit will fit anything from 1950s all the way up to like when they stopped making them, 80s and 90s. That's what's great about these things. The only thing different is the jets on the side. You know, the bigger the engine got, the bigger the jets, but it really doesn't matter. You can run them on all engines. Just adjust the screws for that. Pretty cool. You know what I just seen? You know, everybody's always saying, "Oh, Tecumseh sucks," and they're shit, and you know, Briggs is the way to go and everything, but the funny thing is, I'm just looking at this right here. Here's a Tecumseh carburetor. I'll try and stay in view here. Right? Same design I've had since the 50s. And then I was looking at this. Looks the same. But this here is actually a Briggs carburetor. And if you look at them, they're pretty much the same. They got the same fuel fill on the side. The bottoms are the same, you know, the jets and all that. You know, Tecumseh sucks so bad that Briggs copied them. You know, that's why it cracks me up when somebody says the Tecumseh is no good and everything. But if you talk to a guy that works on both Briggs and Tecumseh for a living and everything, they're the same engine. You know, they're both built the same, and they've both been around for. Christ, Briggs been around 100 years. Tecumseh and Lawson been around just about the same. Yeah, Lawson's been around longer. Just about the same, because they even used to make hit and miss engines. But anyway, they're the same engine. And Briggs even copied the same diameter. You see, that's where it mounts. You could put a Tecumseh carburetor on a Briggs engine if it had this design. Matter of fact, this Tecumseh carburetor is better because this Briggs has plastic stuff on it. So there you go. Tecumseh carburetor. Oh yeah. Even the float bowl, they copied the float bowl and everything. It's just a little bit smaller. This is a Briggs float bowl. This is Tecumseh. And you can see, you know, the bowls are just ever so slightly different. But Briggs copied that. Okay. Where were we? Okay. It looks like I'm going to try and come up with a... Where'd it go? You see this? Alright. You see, here's this for the float bowl. Can you see that? Probably not. See, here's another one. Here's the one that belongs on our engine. Only has one tiny hole there, and it don't look like there's another one. And here's the very same similar jet off another engine, but this has a bigger hole, and it has one on the back side too. And some of them even have smaller ones up there, but you could use them, reuse them on everything. Alright, let me dig through all this stuff and see if I can come up with a kit. Alright, what I decided to do is just go with the rebuilding kit I have, and I'll order more because I like to keep about 4 or 5 of them in stock. And you really don't need the whole kit, you know. Like I said, I'm not going to use any of these jets or anything, but I'm going to use the O-ring. That's for the bottom of this here to keep the fuel from leaking out. The other O-ring goes in the top where the needle goes here, and it squishes down. This goes in the bottom of the carburetor here, keep it from leaking out. And this is your float bowl needle, and this is the gasket that holds the float bowl on. So that's all you're going to have to replace. But you guys that want to pick up these Tecumseh carburetors, Tecumseh, I don't think Tecumseh has their name written on it anywhere, except maybe on the float bowl. Like, go on, focus, buddy. You see that one says it'll either say Lawson Power Products, and like I say, they all fit from the 50s all the way up till they stopped making them. All the float bowls were the same. They had different size holes in the middle, but that shouldn't make a difference. And the Briggs actually has their emblem on it. You see right in there. I don't know how well you can see that with this light, but right here is a Briggs emblem. And then they even have that. Briggs puts their emblem on everything. They even have it on a float bowl here. There we go. Don't want to focus. Take my word for it. There you go. But anyway, like I said, I always keep these around. I keep spares around. Put them on everything I got. Alright, I'm gonna clean the rest of the engine up, and then we'll take the carburetor off of this thing. Alright, I showed you the Lawson. Like right here, it says Lawson on the bottom. Here's one with a small hole. I've only found one with a small hole, and I think this is a real old one. Maybe out of the 50s. But most of them have the same size hole up here. And even these right here, they say Tecumseh. Tecumseh Products. That's odd. That one just says Tecumseh Products. They usually say Made in USA. This must be a new one. Must be made in China. Anyway, that's what you look for. Look on the bottom. And another thing on a Briggs, the Briggs carburetor is, you know, it's just flat on the bottom. You know, round bowl, and the Tecumseh have a shape to it. You know, they got a little indent. So that's one way of telling they have the indent. All right, let's get to work. Enough jibber jabbing, huh? All right. Before I take this out and clean it, I think I'll take the carburetor off, and if we have to, we'll soak it. But let's look at it. So let me take his air cleaner off. We don't need this. And looks like the screen's in the way. Let me see. Yeah, let me grab something here. All right. That's part of the old air filter. Just get that out of the way. And then you just get them 2 bolts to take this off. So let me throw you up on a tripod. Well, first I'll show you what we got to do. We'll take this contraption off up here, because that's your controller. That's just in the way. You got to take these 2 screws out, and then looks like you got 1 linkage rod, well, 2 linkage rods, 1 spring. That's probably for governor, and then this is well, it is the governor, and the throttle. So it's just them 2. And we'll try and take them off without bending that spring or anything. Alright, let me throw you up on a tripod. Alright, first thing we're going to do is disconnect the kill switch here. And then take these 2 5/16 screws out. That should loosen that. Then you want to look, and that's why I'm filming this all the way, so I can see where all these cables go. Alright, see this one here actually goes to the top of this plate, but to the bottom of this. And then the other one's just the opposite. That goes to the bottom. You want to try and take this spring off without bending it out of shape. It's easier said than done. Alright, I'm going to have to pry that out a little bit. Or, here you go. Or even easier, you see where that goes to the top there? And you can actually bend it out of the way. Not bend it. Oh. The hell. It should slip right out of that hole there now. I don't know what's holding it in, but let me shut yours off so I don't waste your time. You know not, that actually just fell out because I had it at the right angle. Yeah, that just sits in here and goes on the throttle. So that's good, you leave that there. Now for this one here, you're going to have to disconnect the carburetor so you can move the carburetor and unhook that. So let me get some wrenches to unhook that. Okay, after looking at this, it's actually easier to take the carburetor off and the manifold in one piece than it is to try to get this nut off here and this nut off here. And in all actuality, you might not even have to take that off. Just take this. You need this here's a number 3 Phillips head. You know, it's got the flat end on it. If you use something smaller, there we go, it wasn't bad. If you use something smaller, just going to strip the head. All these bolts, there you go. It's falling off. All these bolts coming out real nice. And then you just want to come here and you tilt this out of the way, and it comes out. It comes off just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to plug this up so we don't get any dirt in there when we're switching around. Okay. Alright. I'm also going to take this tiny little exhaust pipe off just so I can get behind it. I don't have to, but it's easy enough to do. And I can clean this up too. Alright, I'm going to just get some rags and stick them in there. Okay, I got this in a bucket here. I'm going to clean that up a little bit and get the can of gasoline over here, and I'm just going to take this stuff and just drop it in there. This is only going to stay here for a few minutes because I don't want the paint to come off of it. And this here, we're going to throw in the bucket and let that soak for a little while we're cleaning the rest of it. Go on back here. Just stick that in there. And then while we're cleaning the rest of this up, I'm gonna roll this outside, blow it off, and clean it. You guys aren't gonna have to watch me do that. When this comes back, this will be pretty clean. All right, but maybe we will get a few shots cleaning the carburetor, taking it apart. But we probably won't be rebuilding it in this video. I think we're getting kind of long. All right, let me blow that thing down and start cleaning. All right, before I blow that off, I'm going to take this linkage off. The linkage you just pull up like that. It'll come right off. Put that in a little bucket. And then your float bowl. Sorry if I get out of frame because I'm looking at the carburetor, not the camera. Alright, this, let me come down here a little bit. This has a little pin in it. You just pull that out, put that in the bucket. And then your float bowl will just pull out. And when you pull it out, if you look on the bottom here, there's the needle that stops your gas from flowing when it goes up. And inside there is a little, sorry about that, little gasket that we got to pull out. But for now, you just want to take your little needle valve off. If you buy a kit, it comes with a new one, but I'll probably use that one. Nothing looks wrong with that. And this looks to be pretty good. So, get all that stuff off. Let me get the gas line off here. I'll need to get it. Looks like a 1/4 inch. I'll be back. Don't go away. Alright, let's take that off. What I got here is an original spin tight. I know you're not going to be able to see this because it's not going to focus. I got too much stuff going on. But it says right on the shaft. I can't even read it. 3408. Made in the USA. I don't know if you can see that right there. Sorry about that. It's a spin tight. And this is the company I think that originated these nut drivers. This is probably 67 years old, this one. Yeah, if you see a wooden handle, let me turn the thing around so you can see. You see a wooden handle, chances are you get yourself an original spin tight. A little bit of history there. Okay. There we go. Now, there's nothing here. If you blow all this off, there's nothing here that's going to blow away. Probably if I wanted to, I could probably blow air in there and it would blow that little seal out of there, but I'll show you how it comes out. We're not going to blow it out. We'll show you how to pull them out. Alright, I'm going to blow this down. Alright, before I take this carburetor apart and take these jets out, I want to show you here. What I wrote down is, usually when I put a carburetor apart, I usually put them in, you put the jets in maybe 1.5 turns, 1 1/4 turns. But since this is probably running engine, you know, to help you out, what I write down is, it's going to be a side jet, it's going to be the bottom jet. And then, you're just going to turn it in and see how many turns it is. Where you at? Alright? There's one. That's not even 1 1/4. So, I'm going to call it 1 1/4. Okay. Then you can take it out. When you put it back in, you just set it to the original, what you originally had. Let's see what we got here. Sorry if I keep going out of frame. Like I said, I'm looking at the carburetor, not the camera. Okay. That should just pull out there. Here's where one of your O-rings goes in this one. And then down here, I put the bowl back on and everything. And we'll see how many this is, how many turns this is. That's 1. Half. That's about 1 1/2. So that's your other jet. This one has a flat bottom, some of them have points on them. But anyway, this is where your one of your other O-rings goes. I think there's a piece of metal there too. I don't see it. Anyway, sometimes there's a piece of metal behind there. Yeah, I see it. It's actually embedded in the rubber piece. So that's your two O-rings. And then well, I'll show you that when we get it out. But anyway, just take note. Make note of write them down. What do we have on the side? We had 1 1/4, and then on the bottom we had 1 1/2. Okay, so that's what you do. I think this video is probably getting pretty long, so I'm going to take this apart and clean it. I don't know if you can see this, but I didn't clean this yet. And the inside of this carburetor is so clean, it's unbelievable. I don't think there's going to be much cleaning at all. Just change the gaskets and everything. But I will get the dirt off of it. This other screw on the top here is just your idle. You don't even have to mess with that. Alright, we'll get to that when we get to that, right? Alright. Alright, just got done cleaning this, even though you guys probably looking at it probably saying, looks like I didn't do anything, but it is. There's no grease on it. You know, it's I'm leaving it in its we call it leaving it in its work clothes, because the Survivor. But all the grease is gone off of it, and it's good enough to put back together. And then I guess next video we'll put this together, because right now this is the carburetor's in here soaking for a little bit. Even the flywheel, I cleaned that. Doesn't look like it, but all that stuff is all degreased, and this bowl isn't yet. But we'll do that. We'll save that for the next video. It'll be all cleaned up, ready to go, and we'll put it back together. Alrighty, enough of this.